Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Thursday, the 13th day of June, 2024. Thursday of the 10th week of the year, the 10th week of Ordinary Time. But today it is also the great feast of St. Anthony of Padua in the Franciscan calendar. So he's a feast in the Franciscan calendar. He is just a memorial in the Universal Church's calendar. So that's okay. but today is the great Franciscan scholar, the great Franciscan finder of lost things. Don't know exactly, I forget how he's connected with that. But the one that is next to St. Francis, even better known than Clare, is St. Anthony. And yes, he was a Franciscan. Did not start out that way. He starts out as a priest, comes into contact with the Franciscan, or diocesan priest, comes into contact with the Franciscans and decides to join the community. Again, very early on, while Francis is still alive, as a scholar, he was well known in areas of theology and science, and basically once he joins the community, once he joins the order, he asks Francis if he may teach the friars so that they may be well equipped to be able to preach, as that is what Francis wants him to do. And again, some people are better at preaching than others, and I guess that Anthony recognized that and decided to do something about it. And so basically he makes a request to Francis, and Francis's only caution was that do not let study extinguish the spirit of prayer and devotion among the brothers, which is unfortunately what can happen sometimes within academia, within any kind of institution of higher learning. Sometimes our desire to outmatch or outpace our colleagues, as well as making sure that we shine with what it is that we know and how much we know, and then what it is that we can discover, becomes more important than basically what it is that we are studying. And it becomes basically a way in which we puff ourselves up to make ourselves better than others. Francis is aware of that because, again, universities and the kind of teaching and the kind of dynamic universities are gaining more and more popularity and becoming more and more well known at this time. So it's a great retrieval of something that was lost after the fall of the classical world. So Francis, seeing all of this, basically says, teach, but make sure that it always leads to prayer and devotion, and not just to an egotistical experience, of how much I know and who I can tell it to. So one thing to remember about Anthony today. So if anything is lost today, may Anthony help you find it and be able to return it back to you safely. There are special readings in the Franciscan lectionary for him today, but most people will not have those readings. So the readings for today that are for the Thursday of the 10th week of the year. The Book of Kings continues. Now Elijah trying to do something about the fact that, again, no rain has fallen in Israel for quite some time. And again, that was part of the prophecy on Monday when Elijah was given his duty to begin to preach to Israel. But now it is going to rain. And so on the mountain of Horeb, where I guess Ahab, one of the kings of Israel, and Elijah have been praying, Elijah say it's going to happen, that it's going to rain. And making sure that Ahab believes this, Elijah sends his servant up the mountain higher to take a look out and see if they see any storm clouds. And 7 times they go up, and the 7th time they do see the storm clouds. And so Elijah basically says, get off the mountain because it's going to start raining badly, and get back to your people. And then basically Elijah is able to run before Ahab going back to Israel. That's about it. There's not much else to say about it. It's a longer narrative about what Elijah is doing and trying to bring Israel again back to God, and it just goes all over the place. And so we just hear snippets of this great narrative, and so this is just one more snippet today. In the gospel, we have Jesus again. He's come to fulfill the law, he has said. And so the way in which he does that is helping people to remember again who they are as people of God, as people who belong to God, and so it is this care taken with how we conduct ourselves, care taken with how we present ourselves as human beings, to others and to each other, and so it's like, be careful with the words that you say, be careful with the decisions you make, be careful with what it is that you decide that you're going to do with your life, because in some ways that has to reflect, this belief that we have and this relationship and this connection we have to God. It isn't just God on the side, as sometimes it seems to be, as sometimes we seem to live, with God on the side. God is a hobby. God is something that we just do. Sometimes we can forget about the other side of our life if we just can focusing only on God. Our focus on God should allow us to be able to enjoy this life and to experience the wonder and beauty of this life, and not necessarily divorce us from it. And so Jesus is trying to find the middle way. to navigate between all of that. And the big thing that he says is also important for us. Again, if you're going to the temple and you're going to offer your gift, to God, and you find that you have a quarrel with your brother or your sister, mend that quarrel and then offer the gift, which is always true. Again, it's like if we come to any kind of celebration of liturgy, angry at somebody and angry, about a situation, and we're doing nothing to resolve that, but just kind of keeping it with us, well, then our whole purpose of being at any ritual, at any liturgy, is meaningless. It's ridiculous. Mend what it needs to be mended, and then come to God and open our hearts even more because of that, or allow God, perhaps even more so, to help us realize the necessity of mending, whatever quarrel, whatever division, or whatever it is that is within us, so that we can, participate more fully in recognizing God's wonder and God's love for us. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.